Japan has its own history of tattoos. Tattoos taken to elaborate extremes. They're called irizumi, and they can cover the entire body. These are tattoos as high art. The designs echo Japanese woodblock prints of the 18th and 19th centuries. For some people, irizumi becomes a virtual bodysuit. The tattoos are hidden from public view, but for those who wear them, they form a deep bond.
In Japan, the people in the art form that are called irizumi, often with tremendous modesty and a tremendous sense of purpose, get tattooed all over their bodies. And it is a mark of being a member in this group. It has a set of patterns and symbols that are associated with the tattooing that people can recognize. It has implications for group membership, without a doubt.
Tattoos go back a long way in Japan. Among the Ainu people of the far north, the practice dates back thousands of years, but it was reserved for women. Their lips were tattooed with blue-black designs. The pointed extensions were added when they were married. In the rest of Japan, tattoos had a darker history. They were used as marks of identification for criminals and common laborers. The elaborate style of irizumi developed around 200 years ago, inspired by popular illustrations of heroic outlaws who were covered in tattoos. Middle-class men adopted irizumi as an act of rebellion. In those days, only aristocrats were permitted to wear elaborate kimonos. But for those who could afford it, a bodysuit of irizumi could be hidden under their clothes. The government feared that the West would consider tattoos barbaric, so the practice was banned in 1869. Later, when visiting foreigners had themselves tattooed, it was legalized once again. Still, old attitudes die hard, and even today, irizumi is associated with the underworld.
In Japan, people can be socially punished for having tattoos. Those with tattoos cannot be hired as government employees. It might also be difficult to work in a bank. People with tattoos are not allowed in saunas. They might not be allowed to swim in a pool. They're discriminated against in terms of what they can do.
Horiyoshi III is recognized around the world as one of the grand masters of irizumi, an artist whose clients are honored to wear his work.
Some people get tattooed for religious reasons, some for its sheer beauty, some because it looks cool, or to emulate a tattooed person they admire. It is ultimately for personal satisfaction. People judge tattoos differently. Depending on who they are, they see them as something beautiful, grotesque, silly, or artistic.
Horiyoshi learned his craft from the man who tattooed him, Horiyoshi II, and adopted the same name as a way of honoring his teacher. There are hundreds of tattoo artists in Japan, but no more than half a dozen of his caliber. Covering the body with tattoos can take more than 2 years of weekly sessions and cost thousands of dollars. The technique is also incredibly painful, so the client must be as dedicated as the artist.
Once the carving begins, the individual must fight against pain. The amount of tattoos a person has on his body is a testament to his ability to overcome pain. Those who are able to endure for long hours will get a fine-looking piece of art on their bodies. Pain is definitely one of the appeals of tattooing, for without pain, there is nothing to be proud of.
Tattooing in Japan, as in many other places, is often seen as a protective shield, as something that gives the body protection and a kind of umbrella of spiritual and supernatural power and control that the tattoos are meant to accomplish.
When my wife became pregnant, she thought she would like to get tattooed when the baby was born. She felt the tattoo would symbolically protect the baby.
When I first got a tattoo on my back, it was to protect my child so he would grow up healthy. I didn't want to just imitate a man's design because I thought that would be awkward. I wanted something feminine and beautiful. I also wanted something other people didn't have.
I am proud to do this work as a craftsman. The tattoo I carve is a craftsman's work, but I have no objection if those who wear my work consider it to be art. It is my indirect pleasure to have others see my work as art. The tattooist's job is the hardest because they cannot undo their work. The tattooist doesn't want his subject to move, but they do, since the process is so painful. The result is a skewed line instead of a straight line as intended. Painters can tear up their paintings if they screw up. Ceramic artists can break their work, destroying any evidence of failure. The only option for tattooists would be to kill their subjects and bury them if they made a mistake.
Irezumi artists don't usually kill their subjects, but the people who wear these masterpieces have sometimes donated their tattoos to museums. Their skins are removed in one piece and preserved in airtight frames as works of art.